Okay, so now we're ready to press this center front seam. I am using my seam row, and in case I didn't explain this earlier, this is the wool side of the seam row. This is the muslin side. Sometimes people, depending on the type of fabric, they use either one. The muslin, sometimes for cotton, of course, and this for wool. But what I find is that the wool, that's probably why I need another one now, right? It gives out more heat, holds the steam for me in a little bit better. So I normally use this side, but you know, you can use either one. So I am going to see, I press, it's open. Okay, see, here's the seams that I stitched, and it just hangs like this. And I'm going to flip it open. All right, and that's the center front. This is, of course, where I have based the seam, based the center front. Now, normally we've got a 5/8 inch seam, and that's what we're going to use with our pleat underlay. All right, sorry, I use them interchangeably. However, I've got my iron already, and I'm just going to press that seam open using the seam row and the steam from the iron. Okay, then I'm just going to move it up, move that open, making sure I'm not grabbing anything underneath the wrinkle, and then I'm press. Lift up and press. Lift up and press. Okay. All right. Same thing. Slide it down. Go for more. Press. Up, press. All right. Try and let it dry a little bit, even though this is hot. Okay. Same thing. Okay. Okay. All right, so just letting it dry a bit. All right, so we've got a completed center front press open, and what we do now is, let's turn it over on the right side and see what that looks like. See, it just looks like a seam, even though, guess what, look, that looks like a little tuck right there. So, and what I didn't do, you see the difference? Normally what I do is I press one side, press both pieces to one side, and then I'm able to come back and press it open a little bit more smoothly, and I don't have that little looks like a little tuck, right? So I'm turning it on the right side. Now normally if you press it on the right side, you need a little pressing cloth, and if I could find mine, I will use it. So bear with me. Let's just get a pressing cloth, because you're on the right side and you don't want to leave a shine. So let's find the pressing cloth. Okay, normally I kind of have these things out and ready, but don't have it together, so I have to piecemeal it. So this is my little see-through pressing cloth that you can purchase it from the store, fabric store in the Notions. It's just a kind of a sheer cotton piece. I'm not really sure what it's made of. I think it's cotton. I have to look that up. But anyway, I place it on the right side of the fabric, then I press over it. That eliminates the shine. So the only reason I'm pressing this is because I saw that little tuck and I want to press it out before it sets. Okay, see, now it's gone. Okay, I'm just looking to see if there are more. Move it down a bit. See, everything else feels good. When I run my finger over it, I don't see a little kind of a pin tuck because I don't want that. Okay. So everything is looking good. Okay. Move it down a bit. Checking on the back to make sure it's open, flat. Okay. Just a little, making sure everything is in shape the way I want it. Okay. All right. Okay. So that's done. I'm gonna set this pressing cloth. Let it hang across my ironing board. I've got the hem on one side, down the seam roll, and the pressing cloth. See all these things you need when you're sewing? So I'm just going to put my seam roll there and go back to the table. Turn this on, turn it on the wrong side. As you can see how the seam is pressed open. This is the pleat. And now there's another little piece of the next set of instructions say pin the pleat underlay to extensions. Stitch as shown, keeping the skirt front free. Do not press seams open. Baste across the upper edge. Okay, basically what that means is we're going to find our little pleat underlay over here amongst our sack of goodies. Normally you would hang these up on a hanger and you would, as you go, take them off the hanger, right? All right, I'm not doing that. So here's my piece. I know it's confusing with these black and white dots, but here's my underlay piece. I had cut it on the fold just like the instructions said. Now I'm going to open it up and I'm placing it with the right sides together. See? Flipping it over, right sides together. I think this is the top. I have to be careful. There's the top, there's a marker. I have a little X right there to indicate that it's the top. All right, so here, I'm just going to match these sides of the pleat. See, this right here. This is what we're going to sew, but I'm laying it flat for now, but we're only pinning this piece together. We're not pinning it to the skirt itself. All right, and we're going to pin this together and not through the skirt. All right, so we're just attaching that underlay to the pleat all the way down, and we'll pin it. After we pin it, we're stitching it 5/8 of an inch. Okay, all right, and we're not sewing through to your fabric. You're just going to hold this up. Once it's pinned, take it and then stitch on this side all the way down. All right, making sure that the skirt is out of the way. Move that bobbin. Okay, we want to make sure again that the skirt piece is out of the way. We're going to pin the underlay to the pleat. All right. Okay, that's been stitched. Okay, it's not attached to anything, not attached to the skirt. Just stitch this from the bottom to the top, and then I've come back and I've serged it because it's basically a raw seam. All right, the other side, same way. All right, now where we are going to attach the pleat now to the skirt is across the top. So as you see, I pinned it across the top, right here, pinned across, and I'm just gonna baste it across. All right, and then it will be attached. We are following the instructions on the guide sheet that says that what we've now completed is number 6. Pin the skirt underlay to the extension, stitch as shown, keeping skirt front free. Do not press seams open. Baste across the upper edge, and that is where we are, basting it across the upper edge. All right, from there, next step will be where we are going to pin the pocket, the line into the back. Yeah, no, wrong. Stitch one lining pocket section to the skirt front, and which is they're saying 1/4 of an inch. See, here's that case where it's 1/4 of an inch instead of 5/8. And see how the pockets have been attached? That's the lining to the front, and the fabric pocket to the back. Now, as I said earlier, is that I cut out my lining and my fabric out of the same fabric. So I don't have, this is considered to be my lining. So see, this pocket, I've already pinned it. I've matched the little notch that I have right here. See, notches are matched, and it's marked up right here, but it's a little clip. Well, we clipped it to identify that there was a notch, and that's right there. It's a very small one, but I can see it, and I'm pinning. Now I pinned those here. See, pinned pocket. I'm stitching it 1/4 of an inch, not the regular 5/8. And then I've done the same thing on the other side. Additionally, the next step said, okay, as I was saying, we are attaching the pockets to the front, which is the one with the pleat, right? And we're also, see, our pockets are pinned. And all we're gonna do is stitch 1/4 of an inch. Then normally what I do is I come back and I'll serge it on that side. So we won't have a raw edge and gives it a really clean finish. And also we're attaching the pockets to the back. You know, you've got 2 pieces for the back. And I'm attaching the pocket here. Okay, pocket attached, pinned rather. Then I stitch it 1/4 of an inch on both pieces. Serge it, come back, and our next steps will be that we are going to stitch the side seams together at 5/8 of an inch, and then go around the pocket and up. But normally I base mine right here where those dots are, so it'll be a closed pocket while we're working on it instead of a gap. All right, so those are our next 2 steps, and we'll come back when our pockets are stitched together. Side seams, pockets are stitched, side seams are stitched. The only thing that's left open here would be the back. All right, we will not sew up the center back until after we put in the zipper, and so we get ready to put in a zipper. I think what I purchased was an invisible zipper. So if you have an invisible zipper, now's the time, or you can use a regular zipper as well, but we're doing an invisible zipper. All right, it's coming along. We're looking really good, and we're progressing. So next, as we look at it, we've got a few more steps before we complete, but it's moving along. Okay, I'm here with this is the back where I have stitched together the pockets, right? And the pocket to the front, press them out, and I press the seam toward the pocket. The seam is pressed toward the pocket, plus I've serged it. See, press toward the pocket, serged. Looks nice and neat. If you turn it on the right side, see what it looks like there. There's my mark and where I'm going to attach them. So basically now we're following the next step where it says we will stitch the side front and back together at the sides, leaving open between the large circles. The large circles are the pockets, where the pockets are, right? But we're actually going to stitch up to that large circle, then do a back stitch. Then I'm going to change the stitch length regulator, make it a basting stitch, and I stitch from the circle up to the next circle. Do a little back stitch, change the stitch length to back to regular, and then stitch the remainder of the way. Okay? Then I'll come back, and right at that circle, we will stitch the pocket together. All right? So it's a little bit different than what they have here, because what they have here is that you stitch it up, then you go to the circle, then you come around the pocket to the other circle and then stitch up and leaving this open. But I'm going to stitch this up because I like to be able to have a nice press when I do press it open. It looks really great when you're pressing it in the seam rather than trying to press it after or make your seam after you've stitched the pocket together. Okay, so you'll see what I mean. I know it's a little challenging, at least for me to explain it to you, because I'm so used to just sewing it up. All right, so what we're doing, as I said, was pinning it together, following these instructions, and then coming back and we'll do a clip. There's a clip here where we'll open the seam, but first let's finish this. I'll take you to this step and then come back, okay? Okay, we're going to review this sewing up the side seam with the pockets, okay? Because I think I totally confused even myself when I was trying to explain it, so I apologize for that. But basically what we're doing is we're matching the front, which is the one with the pleat, all right, and one piece of the back on each at the side edge. So I have pinned my front to the back all the way up, okay, to my mark. See the dot? Well, I have a mark there. See my little purple mark? So I pinned it to there. Okay, that's where I'm going to stitch. Now, even though I want to pin the pocket, I'm not pinning it just yet. I'm going to wait. From my pinning from the bottom up to the mark, that's where I'm stitching. Regular stitch length. All right, and then I'll back stitch here. Then I will change my stitch length regulator and baste it from here, keeping it the same distance. And you have to kind of gauge it because your fabric is going to cover your marker for your 5/8 of an inch. So now you're having to baste this just by eye, or you can mark your 5/8 of an inch with another pen or pencil with a ruler, so you'll be able to stitch it straight. But I'm just going to eyeball it. So I'll baste it from here to the other pin, all right, at the circle where I have it pinned. Then I will back stitch, change my stitch length back to regular stitching, like size 3 or whatever, however you want, whatever you have your regular stitching at. Mine is at 1.5 and my basting is at 4. So I'll do my little back stitch, then I will stitch from the circle up 5/8 of an inch to the remainder of the seam, and then of course do a back stitch. Once I finish that and take out my pins, this part will be stitched down, right? But I want to then pin around my pocket. So when I come back and stitch, I'm actually going to start stitching at this circle where I originally did a back stitch and base, and I'm going to stitch across I'll turn, pivot, what they call pivot, and then stitch around 5/8 of an inch all the way around, coming to this circle back stitch, okay? And then that will give me a complete, the seams totally stitched up with the pocket stitched. All right, I just wanted to show you how I stitch up or baste the pocket. That's a side pocket that's in the dress or top or whatever the case may be. Anyway, you'll see what it looks like once I've finished, but just for now I wanted to hopefully clear that up. I finished stitching the side as I had it pinned, so I stitched from the bottom all the way up to where the marker was, right? Then I stopped and I back stitched. Then I changed my stitch length regulator and I stitched from here, see, basting, long stitch, basting this little area up to the next marker, which is the circle, the next circle, where I marked it with the next. Once I've done that with the needle, everything the same, I haven't taken it off the machine, I changed the stitch length regulator, I back stitched, then I stitched the remainder of the seam. Now all of this is at 5/8 of an inch, okay? Because on my machine, my little blue tape right there is a marker, and I've just stitched up 5/8 of an inch, and then pretty much kind of eyeballed it from there to there, and then 5/8 of an inch, but trying to keep it about the same distance, okay? Now I stitched the other one so you would see what it would look like. So I pinned this pocket, and I'm going to stitch from the X mark right here over 5/8 of an inch, 5/8 of an inch all the way around, and you're just going to stitch keeping the edge of the fabric on that marker on your machine, okay? And I stitch all the way around and stitch up to here, back stitch, and then finish. Now I'm going to show you what that looks like on the other one, because I've done that already. Okay, so here's the other one, and the seam is completely sewn up. So see here, I back stitched right there, then stitched across. See, it's about 5/8 of an inch. Then I stitched around all the way around, just like I'm sure, just like it's pinned on this one. And when I arrived at the other marker, back stitch, and I'm done. So when I open up the side, so you can see the seam, because I'm going to press this open, but so that you can see the seam, it's just a straight seam. You can't, the pocket is not, it's not showing the pocket, okay? So here's my side, see, right here. Down, down. Even though my hand is on the inside and I feel the pocket, because the pocket is right here. I feel the pocket. It's not, I didn't leave it open. So when I press it, it's going to press the crease in. It's going to be a nice crisp outline for my pocket. And once it's pressed, you know, I'll come back and I will take out the basting. See, I'll come back where I basted and just clip here, take that out all the way, take this out to here, and then we'd have an open pocket. But I'm not taking that out until I finished hemming the garment. I finished everything. All right, I don't take it out until after I finish doing the work. So that way it will keep a nice little seam on the pocket, and it looks really nice. Looks like it's a seamless seam. It looks seamless. It just blends right in with the pocket. People can't really tell it's there until you put your hand in the pocket. Okay, so that was the whole point of my trying to say. It's much easier to show. I'm trying to say, stitch up to this marker, stop, back stitch, go across. Okay, same thing. Okay, got me. Okay, we are, next step, we are pressing the seam open. It says here, turn the pockets toward the front, which is what we would do. We will press the pockets turn them toward the front, which is the part in the pleat, and then you are clipping. I've got a clip right here so I can open up the seam and press it open. So it says here to turn the pocket toward it, the seam lines, and press. All right, one of them should say to clip. It actually says it at the top. The clip seam allowances above and below the pocket. So, but just on one side, just on the back. Am I right? Yeah, you're gonna clip the back seam. All right, you're gonna lift it, because this is the one with the pleat is the front. Okay, I have to move it around a bit. This is the back right here where I am. So this is going to be pressed toward the front. The pocket is. So then I will just clip across to about right there so I can open up the seam. You don't cut past the seam. Don't put your scissors past this seam. You're just going to take your scissors, your shears. If you have your shears, you're going to lift up that seam, and you're going to lift up the seam right here, see? And you're going to take your scissors and you're going to clip it to the seam. Okay, so if I clip it now, right here, making sure I'm making sure I don't have anything caught between there. Usually I've got my two hands, but I'm trying to show you this. It's a little dangerous for me to have this going that way. Okay, so the back, here's the back. I'm checking to make sure. The back I haven't stitched up yet. So see, this is the back, the center back. So this is my back piece. So this is the piece that I'm going to cut, because the pocket, I want this open and I want it to lay flat, and I want the pocket to go toward the front. So in order for me to do that, to make that fit smoothly, is I will clip it. So I will take my shears. See, never put your scissors past the seam that you want to cut. So if you have scissors, don't put them past don't place them like this. You want to take the tip of it and clip. See, I clip that. It's a little uneven, but it's okay. And then I'll clip it a little bit more, but not beyond the seam where I've already stitched. I'm just going to clip it up to the seam, because this piece is going to go with the pocket. All right, it's going to go that direction, and I want this open. All right, so I'm going to clip it a little bit more so you can see. Clip it a little bit more. See how it's going to lay flat, and the other piece is going to go toward the pocket. So you would do that on the below the pocket and above the pocket. All right, same thing, and it will lay flat. Now, as I look at this, I probably should have stitched it closer up here, right there, and I think I will. And I'll take some stitch mend or something and kind of close that off. But you probably should go right below the pocket. All right, so you don't need this extra right there, but take it a little bit up, take it further up. See, you're going to clip it right here instead of down here where I have it. All right, we do make mistakes sometimes. Okay, we'll keep moving.